interest underneath this white carpet.
See if we can uncover some words.
The poet Robert Frost is buried here in the cemetery of the Old First Church.
Down here, the quote says, he had a lover's quarrel with the world.
The church itself is a much photographed attraction. Completed in 1805, the Old First Church is admired by Federal-style architecture buffs throughout New England.
It was designed by Davis Fillmore, and the result was probably one of the most simple and elegant examples of the period that you could find.
Fillmore emphasized Palladian windows and symmetrical box pews. The columns are made from entire trunks of pine trees.
It's the spaciousness, it's the simplicity of the lines, large windows. And remember, this was before electricity, so you needed to let the light in.
Tributes to historic figures are sprinkled throughout town. The largest can be seen for miles, the 306-foot-tall Bennington Battle Monument. It commemorates the Battle of Bennington in 1777, which led to British General John Burgoyne's defeat in Saratoga, New York.
The Battle of Bennington is sometimes considered the turning point of the American Revolution. It also ended up being a great morale booster for all the patriots, because they hadn't, before that date, actually beaten the Continental Army on the field of battle.
Bennington is also home to Bennington College, renowned for its many arts programs. Students and the town's 15,000 residents enjoy downtown eateries and shops, as well as landmarks, both natural and man-made. You can't visit Bennington, Vermont, without stopping at the Blue Bend. Everybody knows everybody here?
Just about.
Since 1948, this classic railcar diner has been sort of frozen in time, complete with mile-high pie and tabletop jukeboxes.
What do you love best about working here?
The people.
Pat Shepard is the sister of co-owner Sonny Monroe, who can't be at the Blue Bend these days because of health issues.
So you've worked here for 36 years?
36 years. I worked with my dad in North Bennington, and the mill closed down. I come out for lunch one day, and Sonny come out and sat down with me and said, "Pat, you want to work?" I said, "Sonny, I don't even know the menu." And he says, "You can do it, you can do it."
How long have you worked?
22 years.
Dick Hall is a local cop.
How long have you come in?
3-4 times.
Seriously, 3-4 times?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have most of your meals here?
I eat quite a bit here.
Yeah?
Well, see, I lost my order, so I'm by myself now, so I eat out.
So this is great. Gives you company, gives you good food.
Yep.
Open 7 days a week, the menu here is monster-sized. What's the winner in Pat's book if she has to
Just
choose?
for you.
So this is the grilled
Just smell it first.
donut.
Just smell it.
This is the first. I've never had a grilled donut. Generally, just a donut by itself is indulgent enough.
Right? To die for.
The question is, how could you eat the whole thing? It's so
But you
rich.
can't put it down.
Fruit.
Not to drop any names, but we finish with a cup of Joe, Ella on the jukebox, and
Good evening. Welcome to the 2019 Town of Bennington Annual Meeting. My name is Jason Morrissey. I'm your moderator for the evening. We will call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Tom Jacobs, who is stepping off the select board, not running for re-election. He's been the chairman now for how many years?
5 or 6, yeah.
5 or 6 years. Tom, would you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom Jacobs.
Sure.
We're we are going to go slightly out of order this year. The first thing we're going to do tonight, we lost one of the great guys in Bennington, Dick Pembroke, this year. He was a great man on many, many levels, not just being a great representative for the town of Bennington for many years up in Montpelier, but he was just simply, if you spent 5 minutes with the man, you really did know what a great person he was. Representative Mary Morrissey is here tonight. I'm going to recognize her to come to the floor and read a proclamation in honor of Mr. Pembroke.
Good evening. I stand before you this evening to recognize and honor Richard Dick Pembroke, who passed away this past summer. Dick was, in the true sense, a Vermont native son. He was born in Montpelier, and when as a young man his job brought him to Bennington, Dick adopted Bennington as his hometown, where he lived, worked, and served on behalf until his passing. Dick was truly devoted to his family and friends, his faith, his community, the state of Vermont, and our country, in which he served in the Navy. He served on numerous boards in Bennington County, and the state of Vermont. He was elected to the Vermont legislature, where he served for 16 years as a strong voice for Bennington. We honor Dick this evening through a legislative proclamation that I asked my colleagues from Bennington to also join in. And it will now have its rightful place in the history archives of the state of Vermont. Dick's family is here with us this evening. His wife, Marianne, his sons, Ron and Russ, and some of their family members are here as well. So the proclamation reads, House Concurrent Resolution in memory of former Richard Cutler Pembroke Sr. of Bennington, offered by Representatives Morrissey, Bates, Carroll, and Corcoran of Bennington, and Senators Campion and Sayers. Whereas Dick Pembroke was born in Montpelier on May 30th, 1933, graduated from St. Michael's High School, and served honorably in the U.S. Navy. And whereas starting when he was in high school, was a high school student, Dick Pembroke was employed at the First National Stores, originally in Montpelier, and his excellent work habits and proven leadership skills resulted in his eventual promotion to the manager's position at the grocery chain's Ludlow store. And whereas a pivotal event in the life of Dick Pembroke was the opportunity in 1962 to open a new First National store here in Bennington, a move that located him in the town that he would repeatedly select him for elective office. And whereas in 1979, Dick Pembroke combined his managerial and landscaping skills to establish the successful R.C. Pembroke and Sons landscaping firm. And whereas Dick Pembroke's effective chairing of the Bennington Zoning Board of Adjustment preceded his 15-year tenure from 1987 to 2002 as one of the town's state representatives, and thereafter he served as a member of the Environmental Board. And whereas during the course of his chairmanship of the House Committee on Transportation from 1993 to 2002, he oversaw the development of important transportation-related policies, many of which were encompassed in the annual transportation bill. And whereas his legislative leadership contributed to the revival of Amtrak's rail passenger service in Vermont, and whereas if it was not for his legislative tenacity, the former Representative Dick Pembroke, the Bennington bypass may never have been built. And whereas he was active in civic and fraternal organizations, including the Lions Club and the Knights of Columbus, and his landscaping skills were invaluable asset in the construction of the town of Bennington's Little League complex. And whereas Dick Pembroke died on June 22nd, 2018 at 85 years of age, and his survivors include his wife, Mary Ann, his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and other family members. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate and House of Representatives, that the General Assembly extends its sincere condolences to the family of former Representative Richard Cutler Pembroke Sr., and further resolve that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to the members of Dick Pembroke's family. And if I may present this to Mary.
Thank you. Before we get to the warning, I'm just going to remind everybody of the ground rules for the meeting tonight. This meeting sometimes gets a little livelier than the preceding meeting. Everybody who seeks, whether out there or up here, I'm going to ask for them to raise their hands and seek recognition. When you are recognized, please state your name and town of residence. Please don't assume, just because I know who you are, other people have the right to know as well. So please state your name and town of residence and the subject upon which you wish to speak. The most important ground rule is please only one person at a time when you speak. Who's ever recognized has the floor. With that, I will start with the reading of the town warning. Town of Bennington 2019 Annual Town Meeting. The residents of the town of Bennington qualified by law to vote in town meeting are hereby notified and warned to meet at the Bennington Fire Facility on River Street using the Lincoln Street entrance in said town on Monday, March 4th at 7 p.m. I know we had an issue with, that should say 7 a.m. or immediately following, I'm sorry, that's tonight.
No, that's right. That's right. We're good.
And that's what I get for showing up for the early meeting. Or immediately following the Bennington School District's annual meeting, should that run over, to transact the business specified to be done from the floor. If you are a resident of the town of Bennington, intend to be present at the meeting, and are hearing impaired, arrangements will be made for a sign interpreter to be present at this meeting. For necessary arrangements, please contact Stuart A. Hurd, Town Manager at the Town of Bennington office, 205 South Street, or Post Office Box 469, Bennington, Vermont, 05201, or call 802-442-1037 no later than Friday, February 15th, 2019. Following the completion of such business, the meeting will stand adjourned until Tuesday, March 5th, 2019 at the Bennington Fire Facility on River Street using the Lincoln Street entrance. The polls are open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. for the election of officers and voting on all ballot articles specified. However, those on the checklist to vote in the village of North Bennington shall vote for the election of officers and on all other ballot articles in the North Bennington Village Office on Main Street in North Bennington. That's the North Bennington Railroad Station. The Bennington Fire Facility above mentioned is hereby established as the central polling place for those on the checklist to vote in said Bennington. Residents of Bennington and North Bennington may register to vote in the town clerk's office, 205 South Street, Bennington, Vermont. Eligible residents registering on election day must do so at the polling place, either here or at the North Bennington Railroad Station, depending on your place of residence, where they will cast their town meeting ballot. The business to be transacted from the floor tonight are 3 articles. One is to hear the report of town officers and take the appropriate action thereon. Second is to set compensation for the select board. Third, any other proper business. There are also a list of articles that you'll be voting on tomorrow that are not part of tonight's meeting. So with that, the first item of business is to review and accept the town report. As traditionally is the case, I'm going to ask Tom Jacobs if he has any initial comments about that, and I know there is another presentation that Tom would like to have Zerwatt Chowdhury in a moment come forward.
Great, thank you very much. I think I'll use this. Good evening, folks. First, I'd like to have my colleagues introduce themselves, if you could. We'll go to Nancy Lively, who is our reporter, who's been here, never misses. And her work has been really well received, and the quality of it is amazing. Only with a few grammatical challenges. Usually they're caused by yours truly. And next to her is Stuart Hurd, our town manager, and I just allow the other folks to just introduce themselves.
Good evening, I'm Jean Connor.
Good evening, Carson Thurber.
Good evening, Jim Carroll.
Good evening, I'm Donald Campbell.
Hello, I'm Jeannie Jenkins.
Good evening, Chad Gordon.
Cassandra Barbo, Town Clerk.
Joan Pacino, Treasurer.
Thank you very much, Jason. In addition to the reports from the town as contained within the 2018 annual report, we do have a report from our now former Community Development Director, Zerwatt Chowdhury. Is Zerwatt going to be pursuing? There she is. As she walks to the wherever you're going to direct it from, Zerwatt was with us a relatively short time. But during that time, a great impression was made not only on the board, but our community as a whole. I think when the report that you'll see tonight on the PowerPoint is delivered, you will see that there's been some exciting things that have happened over the last year. Thank you. I'll turn over to Zerwatt.
Thank you. I'll keep this very brief, and I get to tell Dan what to do, which is great. So welcome to the annual town meeting. I'm just going to take you through a brief overview of some of the accomplishments of the town and the various activities that have kept us busy for this past year. Next slide, please, Dan. So first, of course, is one of the most important events, I think, on the horizon of this town, which is the groundbreaking and closing of the Putnam Block. Already, as many of you have noticed, the demolition and environmental remediation of the site has begun and is underway and actually fairly far ahead. The anticipated closing date and commencement of the project of the construction of the project is April 2019, so coming up very soon. And this past year, the project received an additional $250,000 in community development block grants, which, as you might be familiar, are funds that are disbursed through the town to various entities that receive the funds as sub-grantees as well. Next slide. The Department of Public Works, its Highways Division, was quite busy this year. They were awarded 2 soil erosion grants. They straightened out Walloomsac Road and paved 12.86 miles of road and 3162 linear feet of sidewalks. And we really emphasize this because we may just look at these as dry numbers, but this is the hard work of our DPW crew that allows us to arrive at these meetings on time and to continue our work through their various efforts all year round. And this presentation will probably be also on the town website, so I won't go over all of the nitty-gritty details. Dan. Next. The Water Department, in conjunction with the paving project by the state on routes 9 and 7, conducted some additional water main maintenance. They changed out some of the old valves in the downtown area. And I think the key here is that they have 2 new grade 4C water licensed water operators. So we have really expert crew on this team, but also they added 7 miles of new water mains to feed 146 new customers. The sewer department saved the town approximately $1 million last year by doing the in-house replacement of 30 rotating biological contactors, RBCs if you're an expert. In addition, they did the cleaning and maintenance for primary clarifiers, and in addition, 1,800 feet of sewer lines were cleaned and televised. Next, please. The Office of Community Development, which the office that I headed this past year, disbursed $25,000 from the revolving loan program and a $20,000 grant from the BD fund. In addition, it was central in receiving $250,000 that I mentioned for the Putnam Block project from Community Development Block Grants, and it received a $650,000 grant on behalf of a project at 219 Pleasant Street, which I should highlight was the first grant awarded to a private developer for an affordable housing project. In addition, we conducted the citizen survey, which many of you, I imagine, took, and remember me hounding you at the elections last year. We had 984 respondents, so thank you very much for sharing your time and feedback with us. And this information will be drawing on, I think, quite a bit as the town decides its future projects going forward. Next, please. This is, of course, my pride and joy. In a very short time, the town crew really came together, and the splash pad in Merchants Park went from being a children's drawing to being this incredible new feature and a public space that I hope we're working towards seeing if we can open to the community maybe even this fall. The town served as the general contractor on the project. Goldstone Architects was the project architect, and it was a really incredible opportunity to see both highway and buildings and grounds come together in making this project possible. And thank you so much for the community. A special shout out to the Grow Bennington Initiative and Catamount Connections, who were instrumental in really making this a community-driven project. So thank you. Next. In June, sorry, I don't have my contact lenses on, so I can't really see where. Last year, we also did the Stark Street Playground pop-up park. As you remember, it was a fairly inactive park on Stark Street, right by the hospital. And we took this opportunity with a pop-up park, which was a 2-day event last year, to invite the community to come in and tell us how they would like this park to be brought back into use, and in what ways they would like to see it serve their various recreational needs. And importantly, we want to really highlight access to this park through, for cyclists and pedestrians. And we were really pleased to see that so many community members got up on their bicycles and walked over to the park as well. So that is a project that will continue to move forward this coming year. We also did the second summer camp. The town conducted the second summer camp in partnership with the Berkshire Family YMCA. 85 children were enrolled in the camp, and the camp also resulted in 5 local hires for camp counselor positions. This project will, of course, continue going forward, especially now that we've signed a 12-month management agreement with the Berkshire Family YMCA, which began on January 1st this year. Next. The police department, you can see our police department standing right here. They collected 496 pounds of prescription medications in drug take-back containers located in the police department lobby, and this is part of the town's bigger effort to really work through all 3 angles of prevention, treatment, and the third one, somebody will remember by the end of this presentation, not me right now. This is one of those moments. But really to work more on prevention and support rather than just policing for the sake of policing. So we're really pleased to see the cooperation of the police department in this effort. In addition, the police department also did a bicycle rodeo and provided helmets at no cost to area youth and instructed in safe bicycling. And they provided scholarship to a graduating senior at the high school. And I believe the New Experience Camp, which I don't recall if this was the first year or the second year, but has been a very successful event as well from the police department. So thank you for that. We're not done yet. And last year, just as a gentle reminder, it was one of the most glorious sunsets I've ever seen. So please do remember that as you go in and cast your votes tomorrow.
Thank you, Zerwa. Anything else, Tom?
Nope, I think that is it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Zero.
At this time, we're going to open the floor to people who would like to be recognized for people to discuss any issues in the town report. This is the time of the meeting. If you have any questions or comments about what you see in the town report, please seek recognition from the floor. And I'm sure members of the select board or other members of the town government can answer questions you have. Is there anybody that would like to be recognized regarding the town report? Please step forward.
Can I talk from here?
We'd like you to come forward so that the
You can
folks
bring
at
him up,
home
though.
can hear you.
Tell he can bring her daughter.
But you should bring your child.
Yeah.
She'd love to be on.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like, yeah, always plugged in.
Should be getting ready for bed right now. So, my name's Elizabeth Fredlin. I'm a resident of Bennington, Vermont, and I'm a member of the board on the Council on Aging. And I wanted to come and just personally thank the town of Bennington for the funding that's going to the Council on Aging. It's an invaluable resource for everyone, and whether you receive services or...
Ma'am, are you speaking about the ballot article for the Council of Aging?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a special time for everybody to come up at one point. We're sticking to the town report.
Oh, I apologize.
That's
No
cool.
problem.
No,
We'll
that's-
recognize you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for standing us up.
Charles?
Hi, Charles Kozlowski in Bennington. It's page number 23 on the report. And I was just curious in looking over it.
Page 23, Charles.
It's called Permitting, Planning, and Code Enforcement. Speak into the mic, please. Sorry. Page 23 of the report, Permitting, Planning, and Code Enforcement, and I was struck by the numbers from 2017 to 2018. I'd just like some clarification, if we might, because it went from $47 million in 2017 to $9 million in 2018. Is that a trend, or is that a one-time anomaly?
So that extremely large number in 2017 came from the permit for the Putnam Block project. So we'd count those numbers when the permits come through, so.
Okay. Is there anybody that would like to speak about the town report, not including the ballot articles for various agencies, which we will have a separate part of the program tonight for? Mr. Ray, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Al Ray, resident of Bennington on Airport Road. The lady gave a brief summary of the potential either merger or takeover of the Bennington Rec Center with the Berkshire YMCA. I guess a couple questions. One is why? And the second one is the cost. Right now, I pay $57 a year as my annual fee. I'd like to know if anybody knows what it will be if we merge. I've heard everything from $200 to $350. So if the rate goes way up, I don't know, we're going to drive people away or not. I'd just like to know why, and if anybody knows what the annual fee will be. Thank you.
I could attempt to answer that, Al. Currently, we're in a transition period where we are working with the YMCA of Berkshire County to see whether or not there is an opportunity for us to merge our services. The Y obviously has access to and is expert in a number of recreational programs, both for seniors and youth, and we think that there's an opportunity to benefit the entire community. As to the rates will not change in this first year. And in my conversations with the Select Board, and I am committed to this, we will continue to do what we need to do to subsidize those rates from taxpayer dollars. Remember, we have a recreational budget here of some $600,000 or more, and we believe that we can keep those rates at an affordable rate for all of the people who currently use the system, and hopefully increase the numbers of people who will use the recreation center and the various programs, and allow then those rates to increase over time, but with the numbers increasing, thereby minimizing any major impact on rate changes for the people of Bennington.
Jim Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I want to make clear to the general public, there have been some rumors out there about the rec center. The town of Bennington has no plans to relinquish ownership of the rec center in any way. And correct me if I'm wrong, Stu, if there were to be any rate increases, it would be at the behest of the Select Board.
That is correct. The Select Board will control the rates.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. there anybody else that would like to seek recognition on anything in the town report tonight in regards to items other than funding for agencies? If not, I would...
Tom Letty-Cecere, Bennington. I just had a question regarding the pretty large discrepancy between the budget and the actual for the highway fund in fiscal year 2018. And just wondering if there's any comment on that. So on the very last page, page 100, if we are looking at the highway fund figures for budget 2018, we're seeing $3,741,070, and then the actual is $7,860,76.
I'll leave it to somebody from the select board to speak, but my guess is there's some grant funding that was beyond budget.
Well, there are several things that indicate the large expenditure. When we buy our equipment, most of our major equipment purchases are done through the state highway fund. We were able to borrow the money at a 3% locked-in rate. So when the budget reflects a purchase, say, of a grader or a dump truck, we're showing the annual cost of that in the budget process. At the end of the year, the audit shows it as fully purchased in the year in which it is acquired. So all of that major equipment purchases are shown as a lump sum purchase. They move after the audit into the asset structure. So we actually haven't overspent the budget, but it has to appear that way from an auditing perspective.
Okay, wonderful. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on the town report? If not, a motion to accept the town report is in order. There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. A motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting the town report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. For all those who wish to not accept the town report, please signify by saying no. The ayes have it, and the town report is accepted. The next matter of business is setting compensation for the 7 select board members. Currently, this amount is set at $1,400. Before we hear comments or motions, could there be some clarification, perhaps from Tom or Stu? Is that what is budgeted for the next budget year?
It's anticipated to be the same.
Yes, it
Unfortunately, yes. Or fortunately for taxpayers.
Is there any discussion on select board compensation or a motion to set compensation at $1,400 per member for the upcoming year? There's a motion on the floor to set compensation for the select board at $1,400 per member for the next year. Is there a second? Second. There's a second. Any further discussion on that matter? All those in favor of setting select board compensation at $1,400 per member, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. The ayes have it, and select board compensation will be set at a rate of $1,400 per member for the upcoming fiscal year. For other business, I know, and we started out earlier, and I should have made the announcement earlier, we have several agencies, several nonprofit agencies that are on the ballot tomorrow for specific line item adds to the expenditures from the town of Bennington for next year. What I would like to do is, if possible, in the order that they appear in the ballot, but certainly that is not needed. If there is a representative, I'd like to go through these in order and call up one representative at a time from those agencies. I'd like to limit those comments to not longer than 3 minutes because we have 12 agencies and that takes a fair bit of time. So if there is anybody here from the Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse that would like to speak, and there is, could you please come forward and identify and speak?
Good evening. I'm Joy Kitchell, and I'm the Executive Director of the Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse. That's our formal name, but we go by the Child Advocacy Center, and we're located on Elm Street, just across the street from Jefferson Avenue. We have been in existence since 1989, and we work with children that are victims of child abuse, mostly sexual abuse. We work with them and support the child and the family in the healing process so that they can move forward. And for us, that means we're with the family from 1 day to 3 years and beyond. We stay with the family for as long as they need, provide whatever kind of supports they need, and advocate for them to make sure that they are taken care of and they are well on the way for healing. And we're also the people that do Bennington Goes Blue. So if you remember on April 8th to wear blue in honor of children that are victims of sexual abuse, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Article 5 is for Project Against Violent Encounters, also known as PAVE. Is there anybody here from PAVE? Please come forward.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Kirkpatrick. I'm a board member of PAVE. I think I've learned over the years I've been on the board that everybody just about in town knows what PAVE is and what we do. I'm going to point out just a few of the things that we do. We started as a 24-hour hotline, and that service is still going. But now we advocate in court for people trying to get RFAs. We arrange emergency housing for people who need that housing. We work in the schools starting at an early age to try to prevent people from needing our services when they're older. Our services are not limited to women. Women benefit, children benefit, their children, and men seek PAVE services. So I would hope that you would continue your support. If anybody would like a brochure or a little flyer telling what the services are, I would be happy to get it to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, is there anybody here from Green Mountain Retired Senior Volunteer Program, also RSVP? There is. Please come forward.
Thank you. I'm Kathy Aliberti, the Director of Green Mountain RSVP. First off, thank you for the past support, voters of Bennington. Also, a thank you to our volunteers, many of you here tonight. Our volunteers are 150 volunteers in the town of Bennington, representing 20 different organizations. They're teaching 4 different bone builder classes with about 75 total participants. They're mentors, they're helping at blood drives, they're delivering Meals on Wheels, driving seniors to medical appointments. Really, the list goes on. They're the quiet folk in town who are improving your community. So for that, we thank you for your support.
Thank you. Next, is there anybody here from Brock Community Action in southwestern Vermont that would like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Seth Mumford, and I'm the Housing Case Manager at Brock Community Action. I'd like to thank the town of Bennington for their continued support of Brock over the years. A little bit of what I do at Brock Community Action is I'm the Housing Case Manager, and I help house people experiencing homelessness as well as people who are at risk for homelessness. Last year, from the town of Bennington alone, we helped permanently house 75 people and families from the City of Bennington, as well as prevent 69 people from eviction, and that does not include Manchester, Arlington. We serve all of Bennington County. Some of our other services are we do free tax preparation, and if you're interested in that, that's something that you could access for the next couple of weeks at Brock Community Action, as well as crisis fuel assist, electric assist, our food shelf. We do a lot for the County of Bennington and the City of Bennington, and we hope to continue serving and being the lead housing agency in the County of Bennington, Vermont. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, is there anybody from the Vermont Center for Independent Living here tonight?
Good evening. My name is Charlie Murphy, and I work as a peer advocate counselor with the Vermont Center for Independent Living. And I want to thank the Select Board and the community members of Bennington for their continued support through the years of the funding for the Vermont Center for Independent Living. VCIL is a statewide organization with our central office in Montpelier. We have satellite offices in Morrisville, Burlington, Rutland, Brattleboro, and here in Bennington. We're a cross-disability disability rights organization. We've just had our 40th anniversary. We first came into existence in 1979. As I mentioned, I'm a peer advocate counselor, and our offices are in the Nichols Annex of the First Baptist Church on the corner of Valentine and Main, 601 Main Street. As I started to say, I'm a peer advocate counselor. I'm a person with a disability, and we help other folks with disabilities find resources and try to live as independently as they can or as they choose or as based upon the circumstances and the resources that are available. We have a program called the Home Access Program that provides ramping and entry doorway modification and bathroom modification. We have another program called the Sue Williams Freedom Fund that helps to buy items to help a person live independently, such things as air conditioners and microwaves that a person might not be able to afford that could increase their independence. We also have a program called the Vermont Equipment Distribution Program that helps people that are deaf and hard of hearing provide communication devices. We don't provide cell phones, but such things as tablets and computers to help people use video applications such as FaceTime and Skype to communicate. We also provide meals on wheels for people under the age of 60. To be eligible, you you have difficulty, or it's very hard for you to prepare a meal. So we provide Meals on Wheels on short-term basis and long-term as well as emergency. We also have a program, we also house the Vermont Interpreter Referral Service, which people call to request interpreters, American Sign Language interpreters, for meetings such as this and for doctor's appointments and so on and so forth. So I want to thank the town for considering funding us again for the upcoming year.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody here from the Vermont Council on Aging? I thought we did. Come on up.
Thank you. Sorry for the false start.
It was my fault for not saying it up front.
Well, my name is Elizabeth Fredlin. I'm a resident of Bennington. I'm a member of the board on the Council on Aging. And I want to thank the town for the continued support for the Council on Aging. If you are not someone who receives services, you might be a caregiver for someone who can receive services. So I think among Meals on Wheels, rides to medical appointments, visiting companions, one of the other things we have is options counseling, which I think is very underused around open enrollment time for Medicare. If you're, like many people, struggling with what plan to pick and what supplemental plan to pick, you get free, unbiased assistance in making that choice. So that is through the Council on Aging as well. So if anybody would like information, I have annual reports and contact information. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, is there anybody from the Tutorial Center here?
Good evening. My name is Peter Fish. I'm the Executive Director of the Tutorial Center. Thank you for your continued support of the Tutorial Center. Bennington's town appropriation funds support our tutoring work, enabling us to offer tutoring to students who need our assistance to succeed in school or to avoid dropping out. All students who come for academic support receive support, regardless of a family's ability to pay. This past year, we provided tutoring for 163 students in subjects ranging from beginning reading to algebra, calculus, technology, and foreign languages. Most were from low-income families. Another 165 adults were enrolled in our free adult education services, including 108 Bennington residents who received nearly 6,500 hours of free instruction. 75 of the Bennington residents were aged 16 to 21 with multiple barriers to success. 13 students in Bennington successfully earned their Mount Anthony Union High School diploma this year. Apart from our tutoring and our adult education, we have English language classes for non-English speakers, the high school completion program, GED prep and testing, workplace literacy for employees, reading, writing, and math, basic computer training skills, SAT prep, and then 2 of our marquee programs, the Youth Agricultural Program, which is a summer program for at-risk youth, adults transitioning to post-secondary education, and of course our partnership with the wonderful Seedlings Program. So we invite your inquiry into our services by phone or in person on Pleasant Street. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Next, is there anybody here from Bennington Project Independence, also known as BPI? Please.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Linda Putney and I'm the president of the board of Bennington Project Independence. Those residents who are not familiar with BPI, I would like to give you just a brief idea of what we do. We provide day services to adults facing the challenges of aging and disabilities, and we provide support and respite for families and caregivers. We have an incredible staff who provide nursing care, socialization, mental stimulation, a nutritious meal, physical activities, art and music therapy, and much more in a safe, supportive environment. We, like the other agencies that are here tonight, can't provide exceptional services without the support of individual donors, grants, fundraising, special events, and what we're here for tonight, town support. This year, BPI is celebrating its 40th anniversary of its founding and its 10th anniversary of the beautiful Dr. Richard A. Sleeman Center on Harwood Hill in Bennington. We expect Governor Scott to help us celebrate these milestones and invite you to join us on March 19th. We'd like to thank the people of Bennington for their support in the past and ask for your support for the same amount this coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody here from the Bennington Free Clinic?
Sarah Wilson, Bennington, Vermont. I would like to thank the community of Bennington for its support in the past for the Bennington Free Clinic. We'd ask for your support again this year for Article 12. Just a little bit of information about the Bennington Free Clinic. It's located at 121 Depot Street here in Bennington, which is a new building for us. It serves over 400 adults annually. Those are people without medical insurance. We have a volunteer staff, including Dr. Dundas, who is our medical director, who provides 15 or more hours per week of service to the community of Bennington. And I'd like to yield my 2 minutes to Janice Larigo, my colleague.
I'm Janice Larigo, and I'm also on the board of GBICS, Greater Bennington Interfaith Community Services, which is the host agency for the Free Clinic. I'd wanted to talk a little bit about one of our newer programs. We've, for several years, had a building relationship with the Bennington Oral Health Coalition, and 2 years ago, they became part of the GBICS a range of services. And one of the main focuses has been on dental care in the community, particularly for children. This past October, we took on opening up a dental clinic at Molly Stark School. There had been one there in the past, but it hadn't been in operation for several years. And the reason we wanted to do this is that surveys around the state of Vermont have shown that two of Bennington schools, Molly Stark and Ben L., rank in the bottom 4 in terms of dental health, oral health outcomes. The kids have a greater number of cavities, and they lack regular dental care to take care of it. In addition, 150 children have had to have tooth extractions done under anesthesia at the hospital. So it was important to us to try to make a difference for these children. So we've reopened the dental clinic. We have a hygienist and a dentist who comes in and works with children who do not have a dental home. So to do exams, to do cleanings, to make referrals to dentists. And we found that of the 150 kids at Molly Stark who do not have a dental home, that 75% of them have an average of 4 or more cavities. So this is, we feel, is a critical piece of work to be done in the community. So we're asking for your continued support in order to help expand our program into dental care. And with the idea that we'd be able to see the kids at Molly Stark who don't have any dental care available to them, but also expand that to Bennington Elementary. So we hope that you'll support us in the ballot tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, is there anybody from Sunrise Family Resource Center here?
Hi, my name is Kathy Thompson, and I'm a Bennington resident. I'm also a board member of Sunrise Family Resource Center. We're Bennington County's parent-child center. We provide services to well over 1,500 families each year. 75% are Bennington residents. We've been in business for 50 years. On-site childcare is a cornerstone of what we do. We also have on-site high school program, job training, parent education and services and support. Our services are free and available to any family, but our target is to serve young families. And I'm on the board because Sunrise isn't about giving a handout, but giving a leg up to people who are in need in our own community. So thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody here from VNA and Hospice of the Southwest region tonight? Is there anybody here from VNA and Hospice of the Southwest region tonight? Seeing none, we will skip over to the Bennington Coalition for the Homeless. Is there anybody here from the Bennington Coalition for the Homeless?
My name is Dan Lucy, and I am a longtime resident of Bennington and a board member of the Homeless Coalition. On behalf of the Homeless Coalition, we are extremely grateful for the support we continue to receive from the people of Bennington. We have been helping homeless families and individuals break the cycle of homelessness and gain permanent housing for over 19 years. We operate 2 emergency shelters, one for families and another for individuals. We can serve up to 54 individuals on any given night. This past year, we housed 102 men, 67 women, and 47 children. Our family shelter can house 9 families, and our single shelters can hold up to 16. This time of year, both shelters are nearly always at capacity. We strive to be more than just a bed. In addition to a shelter, guests also gain access to case management, life skills, and training that provide them with the tool necessary to sustain permanent housing. Also, the 966 shelter serves as a daytime drop-in center for anyone who is homeless. There, they can get out of the cold, meet with a case manager, utilize bathroom and laundry facilities, and gain access to food, clothing, personal care items, and bedding. In addition to our emergency shelter, we also sponsor the annual Warm the Children program. This program provided nearly 300 clothes and coats to over 300 children throughout Bennington County this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. That concludes the ballot articles. Before I recognize you, I know there's folks from the rescue squad here who are not on the ballot, but did anybody want to be recognized from the rescue squad? Foster? Forrest, I'm sorry.
He answers to anything.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm Forrest Wine with the Bennington Rescue Squad. Excuse me. Just like to thank all of you and all the select board for working with us, continuing to provide services in conjunction with our other public safety partners for the citizens of Bennington, Shaftsbury, and Woodford. Just know that a couple key points. One, CPR does save lives. We have classes all the time. We can come to your business, to your school, even do small groups at our place, your place. And we're always looking for folks. We just launched another apprenticeship program, and that starts in June. So if you're interested, or you know somebody that'd like to get involved, save a life, be a part of serving your community, check out our website. Thank you much.
Thank you, Forrest. Is there any other citizen of Bennington that would like to be recognized for any topic germane to the town meeting? Please, in the back, come forward. Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alyssa Del Tufo. I live in North Bennington, and I'm the president of the board of Perrin Recreations, Lake Perrin. And not sure why we're not in here, because we do get an annual allocation of funds from Bennington, which we appreciate, which goes into our general operating costs for the year. But this year we applied for a state recreational facilities grant, which is a matching grant, which means for every dollar we get from the state, we have to raise another dollar. We are planning to put in a playground for kids. If anyone, I hope everyone here has been to Lake Perrin, but if you haven't been, please come. We don't have much outdoor play equipment for children. We have a gorgeous lake, but sometimes you don't want to be in the water or it's too cold. So we're building a playground, and we're asking the town of Bennington for $1,500 to help us raise our matching funds. We're also asking the towns of Shaftesbury and North Bennington, and we've also already raised some money from a few local businesses. So I don't understand the whole budgeting process, so I thought we'd be in here, but we're not. Hopefully that doesn't mean that we're not up for the appropriation, but that's why I came tonight, so thank you.
Recognize Stu Hurd.
Yeah. Is
Lake
everything
Perrin,
okay?
Lake Perrin, like the rescue squad,
Yes.
and the two libraries,
Yes.
North Bennington and Bennington Free Library, are included within the budget itself.
Right,
So
right.
you're not on the ballot as a
Okay.
separate article, and it's the intent of the select board to actually participate in that matching grant
Great.
of $1,500 out of the current
Got
fiscal
you.
year
Okay.
budget, not of next year.
Well, thank you, everybody, then, and please come and bring your children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews over. The playground should be done this summer, so thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that seeks recognition on business germane to the town meeting? Please.
Charlie Jingo, I'm a resident of the town, and Stu, I guess a question for you, or perhaps other select board members. Because there are several agencies, as Stu just said, that are not on as separate ballot articles, could you tell us the amounts for each of those agencies?
Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, thank you, Charles.
Charlie, that was such a good question, it may take a moment to answer it.
In the proposed FY 2020 budget, which is what is under consideration tomorrow, the Bennington Free Library is in for a $488,000 amount. The North Bennington, or the John McCullough Library, I should say, is in for $32,000. The Bennington Rescue Squad, Forrest has already spoken, they are in for $187,500. North Bennington Recreation, an annual request of $6,000 is generally granted to them. And as Alyssa has already told you, Parent Recreation generally asks for $2,700 a year. So those are the ones that are included in the budget, and when you vote for the entire budget, those agencies receive their funding.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who seeks recognition from the floor? Is there anybody seeking recognition? If not, a motion to adjourn is in order. There's a motion to adjourn on the floor. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. This meeting stands adjourned until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when voting will occur here in the Bennington Firehouse and in North Bennington at the railroad station. There are 3 select board seats: the town treasurer, the town moderator, the town budget, a bond for a ladder truck, a question on the mayoral form of government, and the 12 individual ballot items.